This is Gemara Sanhedrin Daf Tzadi Beis, and as we continue these incredible Gemaras in Parakah Chelek, incredible Agadatas, incredible Yesaidos, all the learning B'siyata D'Shmaya should be a Mirza Hashem. Lezchot Rafua Shlema for Tinaik ben Miriam Ahuva, the Ganze Koyach Torah that sometimes is a little bit difficult, a little bit esoteric. There should be an incredible schos Rafua Shlema. Says the Gemara Tanya. We're on Tzadi Aleph and Beis. We're halfway through the wide lines. The first one line is Tshuva. And we're in the middle of discussing Tchias HaMeisim, and the Gemara now begins to discuss a bunch of psukim, Mikairais, Ramazim, that point out Tchias HaMeisim. Says the Gemara Tanya, and remains man Tchias HaMeisim min HaTorah. Shenemar az Yashim Moshe b'nei Yisrael Sheyazos L'Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu will sing this song. Says the Gemara, Shar loy namar elo yashir. Says the Gemara, the pasuk does not say sung or sang, but rather yashir, he will sing. Mikan dechiras laveisim in atayra. Ki yetz v'davar atamer az yivne b'yeshua mizbeach l'Hashem. Bana loy namar elo yivne mikan, he will build. Tchiras laveisim in atayra. If this is true, ask the Gemara, az yibanesh shleimai. Pasuk says, and then Shlima will build Bama lechbaish shakut mayav, a bama for shakut, the abomination of mayav. Hachinami diyivna. Does this mean in the future? Of course not. It means that he built. Says the Gemara, Elamal olav akasav kilu bana. The pasuk means that it says if he built it, even though he did not. So it's still in the future because it's not something that he did, but at the same time, it does not. It's not a kasha on that which we are saying. Continues the Gemara. Amar Rav Yeshua ben Levi. Minayin l'tchias ha'meisim min ha'Torah shene'amar. 8 lines from the bottom. Ashrei yoshev v'eisecha d'alucha selam. Meir deka pasuk we say every single day is the mekar for tchias ha'meisim. That ashrei yoshev, happy are those that dwell in your house. They will praise you. Continues the Gemara, whoever says Shira in this world will be zeichet to say Shira in the next world. Will have the schos to continue saying Shira. Quotes the Gemara another pasuk, Kol seifayich nasu kol, 5 lines on the bottom, Yachdav Yiranenu v'goymer, that they're going to sing in unison. Rinenu, doesn't say they song, El Yiranenu, Migan Chizmeis ben Atayr. V'amar Echeber, Amar Rav Yechon, Asidin Kol Anavim Kulan, Amrim Shia b'Kol Echol, and Anavim will sing Shira with one voice, Shenamar Kol seifayich nasu kol, Yachdav Yiranenu. Amar Rav Yidam Rav Kol Hamayne Alachim Abi Talmud Ki'ilu Geizla. If you withhold a halacha, you withhold a teaching from a Talmud. It's as if you stole from him Minaklas Havaisa from the ancestral heritage. Shenamar Torah Tzivalanu Moshe Mayrasha Kilas Yaakov. Mayrasha it is an inheritance. That is what the Torah is. L'chol Yisrael Misheshes Yemei Bereishis. Before we continue, I was supposed to point out, I apologize. In yesterday's shir, Daf Sadi Aleph and Aleph, I said it was a mistake, and I appreciate Rav David for you correcting me. I said the Gemara, it said the Chachamim deserted, and I said it's referring to the Chachmi Yisrael, which of course cannot be in the storyline. I tried, and I thought I corrected it. I did not. So I just want to point out that mistake. Appreciate the corrections. And again, these are difficult Gemaras. Feel free. Could definitely be we make mistakes. We try not to, but feel free to be in touch as always. 2 lines to the bottom says the Gemara, Rav Chana bar Biznam Rav Shimon Chasida. So with the whole Zay halacha from a Talmud, it's so terrible that even the Obar, the fetus in the mother's womb, curses him. Shenemar says the pasuk, Mainei bar. He withholds bar. Bar literally over here means grain. Yikavua le'oim, says the pasuk. The nation will curse him. And it explains the Gemara, Le'oi ve'in la'oim ela ubrin, Shenemar lo'im el obi abat, ve'in kava ela klala shenemar ma'ekav lo'i kava kel, ve'in bar ela Torah, Shenemar neshku bar pen yet enough. So by withholding Torah, it's something that could create a curse even from the Uberim. Continues the Gemara, Ula bar Yishmael, Aimer Minakvin Isai Kikivra. Says Ula bar Yishmael, a different punishment, that he's pierced like a sieve if he withholds a Torah from a Talmud. Ksiv Acha Yikbru Laim, Ksiv Asama Yikavu Char Bidlasai. V'amar Abaya Ki Uchla Dekatri. And says Abaya, it's like a launderer's sprinkler. Says Abaya, a metal vessel that used to sprinkle water on the garments, that if you don't teach something to a Talmud, you're creating a kli with holes that things will just fall out. Continues the Gemara of him, Lamdu. And let's say you do teach Torah. Let's say you don't withhold from the Talmud. Masacharai, what is your schar? Amar Rav Amar Rav Sheshes. Zech lebracha is ki Yosef. Yizaycha to the bracha is like Yosef Atzadik Shnemar Ubarchu L'Raish Mashbir Vein Mashbir Al Yosef Shnemar V'Yesu Ashalat Al Aretz Hu Amashbir L'Chol Am Aretz. Continues the Gemara Amar Rav Sheshes Kol Amalami Terrible Amazeh Zaycha Amalam De Torah La'Olam Haba. You teach her in this world, teach her in the next world. Shnemar Meiram, Umarve Gam Hu Yoyreh. So incredible schusim for teaching Torah, horrible punishments, Rachmana litzlan, for withholding Torah. Continues the Gemara, Amar Rava, back to Tchias HaMeisim, 15 lines down. The first line is Umarve. Minayin Tchias HaMeisim in HaTorah, Shem Yechiru Vein Val Yomois. Yechiru Vein Val Mazev, Val Yamos, you won't die, Lel Mahaba, Ravina Amar Meacha, Rabbi Mishnei Adama is offer Yekitzu, Eila Lechayolam Haba, Ve'ila Lecharvais, Lidei Ra'oin Oilam. Many sleep in this world, and many in shame for everlasting. Dira oin. Rav Ashi Amar Mehacha, another Mekar. V'atel chalakates u'tenuach v'tamoid legoyrol chalakates hayamin. Says Rav Ashi, you'll go to the end and you'll repose and you'll rise at the end of days. Again, another Mekar for Techias HaMeisim. Amar Rav Elazar. Once we're on the topic of Rav Elazar, we go forward in teaching other numerous teachings of Rav Elazar. Amar Rav Elazar Kol Parnis Shemanik is that Tzibur Binachas. If a leader leads the community with nachas, with gentleness, he'll lead them in Elam Haba Shema Kimarachamam Yanhigim Bal Mavui Mayim Nahalim. Amar Rav Elazar Gedoyle Deya Shinna Bein Shtei Oisius. Deya is great, understanding is great. It was given to two iris. Yishnemer ki kel deya is Hashem. Amar Rav Elazar Godol Mekadish. Says Rav Elazar, Godol Mikdash Shenita Min Shtei Isis. The Beis Hamikdash is great. It was given to two iris. Shenemar Palta Hashem Mikdash Hashem Kananu Yadecha. Maskiv la Ravada Karich Masal Ravada Karachina. That was his name. Elameata Gdil Nekamash in Betin Shtei Isis. Based on the logic that we're saying, the Nekama should be great, because the Nekama was also given between two Isis, Techsef, 3 lines from the medium-sized lines. Kel Nekama is Hashem, Kel Nekama is Efiyah. Amar lei, ulemitzlei achana, le mislei. Responds the Gemara, you know what this means? What this means is, lemislei achanami. For a greater purpose, if you're taking the kama for a loftier goal, then in achanami kedeula damarula shtei oifayois. Says Rav Elu, there are two appearances alalu lama achas lemidas taivav achas lemidas peranios. Says the Gemara ve'amar Rav Elazar. So we went Rav Elazar. Now once we're in Rav Elazar talking about das, we go further. Kol adam yishvoi deya kilin bebeis hamikdash b'yamav shezanita min shtei oisis zanita min shtei oisis. Ve'amar Rav Elazar kol adam sheish. By deya l'sayv mis asher get wealthy shemar b'das charedim yemalu kolon yakar v'nam. V'amar Rav Elazar the second white line kol adam shein by deya also l'rachim alav. You can't unbursten him shnemar ki loy be nice. Akein leirachamu oiseu v'yitzu leichanun. You can have mercy on him. V'amar Rav Elazar kol anoisin pitai mishein by deya. Says Rav Elazar, anyone who gives a pitai, anyone who gives bread to someone who doesn't have das, yisurin bayin alav, he'll have suffering to the person who gives the bread. Shenemar lach b'cha yisimu mazar tachtecha in tvuna boy vein mazar is yisurin al yisurin shenemar v'ir Ephraim as chol yav Yehudas mizar. V'amar Rav Elazar cholam shein by deil l'seif goyla is going to gola shenemar l'chein gola ami mebli das. V'amar Rav Elazar continues the Gemara. A house that divrei Torah not hurting it. You want fire insurance? Got to learn Torah in your house at night. The Torah in the house at night prevents fires. Shenamar kol chayshit tamil lisfain of tachlu eish lenafach yara sharid by ayalay in your tents. In sharid el tamachacham shenamar ubesridim asher kaira Hashem asher Hashem kaira. V'amar lavzik kisheno mahane tamid chamim min chasav ino raya simin brachlev. If you don't give and you don't allow tamid chamim to benefit from your property, you're not going to see simin bracha shenamar. Ein sorry loichlay al kein loyachol toiva vein sorry al tamid cham shenemar ubesridim shar Hashem kaira. V'amar Rav Elazar kol sheinu mishayer pas al shechanim who doesn't eat bread on his table ein raya simin bracha la'olam shenemar ein sorry loichlay al kein loyachol toiva. V'amar Rav Elazar kol mishayer pitidim al shechanim kilo eved of zar. Also Rav Elazar says leaving over bread is eved of zar. Shenemar harcham the god shalchan mamalim lemine mamsich. Like Kasha says the Gemara, Dika Shlema Bahadei Adaleka Shlema Bahadei. When it's bad to leave over is when there's a whole loaf next to it. Barir, meaning, which means you bring the loaf of bread and you put it next to the pieces. That looks like some pagan ritual, looks like some avodah zarah. But if you just have leftovers, that's a good thing. Behedya. Amar Rav Elazar, Kol Hamachlef B'Dibura Kilo Avodah Zarah. Says Rav Elazar, a piercing statement. Anyone who disguises his speech so people do not recognize him, and simply it means you don't keep your word, that he appears in your eyes like a deceiver. Remember a chizik over here for watching your eyes, says the Gemara. Anyone who looks at an erva, his bow is emptied. Again, many different what this all means, but what this simple pshat Rashi says is it becomes impotent. He will not be able to have children. Shenemar erya te'ar kashtecha. V'amar Rav Elazar mavei kavel v'kayom. Says Rav Elazar, be humble and live. Amar Rav Zera afanina mitanina beis eifal ein poischen loicha loinais lirais nigai. That at dark house we don't make windows to see the sarash mamina. What do we see? The humility we learn out from there. Continues the Gemara. Amar Rav Tevi. Amar Rav Yeshaya Meidich Siv Shal Va'itzer Rechem Eretz Leisav Hamayim. What is the meaning of the pasuk that the grave, the womb, and the earth is never satiated? What does the grave have to do with the womb? The woman's body takes in the zera from the man, and it's mitzi a child. Av Shaol, the grave machnas umitzi, which of course is a raya, which is our theme of Tchias Amesim. Says the Gemara, that where does the Rechem take in? Where does it take in the Zera? It takes it in Bechashai, in privacy, in darkness, in quietness. The birth has lots of noise. Shaol, the grave, Minha Torah. Continues the Gemara, 2 lines on the bottom. Tzadikim sha'asar HaKadosh Baruch Hu le'achiyosam in a chayzin la'afram. Tzadikim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring them back will not return to their dash. And ever nishar b'tziyah v'noisem Yerushalayim kadosh yomerlai. Kol hakosov l'chayim b'Yerushalayim hakadosh la'ilam kayim avheim la'ilam kayim. They will live forever la'asil lavai v'yamayis HaMashiach. V'im taimar, as we turn over to Sadi Bezim and Beis, says the Gemara, but wait, maybe on these Sadikim, you're going to ask, V'im taimar, oisem shanim, those years, Shasik L'shbaruch lechadish v'enes oilamai, shenemar v'nisk shalvada v'yam ha'uz, Sadikim ha'in oisem. What's Hashem going to do as the world is being redone? HaKadosh Baruch Hu oisem kinafayim, kinasharim, v'satin, v'shatin al p'nei mayim. Hashem is going to make them wings like eagles, they'll fly over the world. Shenemar al ken l'nira b'hamir eretz, v'moit harim b'leiv yamim. Shema time maybe going to say Yishlam Sar, they're going to have pain for this time. Lever, Kavishim Achlivu Koyach Ale Ever Kanasharim. Yarutzuv Layigo, Yelchuv Layafu, they're not going to be tired out. Venilav Mimaisim, Shehechya Yelchuv Loy Yafu. So the incredible Nisim of Lasa Lavai. Says Gemara, Venilav Mimaisim Shehechya Yecheskel. But why don't we learn out, says the Gemara, from the Tchias Amesim of Yecheskel that it was not everlasting? Answers the Gemara, that what happened over there in Yecheskel wasn't real, it was a mashal that Yecheskel was writing. The Tani V'lezheimer, Meisim Shei Yecheskel Amdarak, then they stood on their feet, V'amru Shira, they sang Shira, Meisim, and they died. Rav Shua Shira Zunam. We know Shira, they said in times of Yecheskel when they were brought back from the dead. Rav Yehuda Emetz Mashal Haya. So says Rav Yehuda, indeed it was a mashal. Amrla Rav Nechemia Emetz Lama Mashal. If it was true, then what does it mean it's a mashal? Then mashal emes. What do you mean it's a emes and it's a mashal? El emes mashal. In truth, it was a mashal. Rav Laz ben Oishav Yesi Agli Omer Misim Shechia Yecheskel. All the Eretz Yisrael, Benasu Nashim Alidu Banim. They went to Eretz Yisrael. They got married. They had children. Ubanos. Amad Ravi. Yehuda ben Meseir al Ragla v'Amar Ani b'Bnei Bnei v'Alalu Tefillin shenichli Avi Abba Meham. Incredible. I was one of those children. These are the tefillin that my grandfather left over. So machlek as whether it was actual tchias amesim or whether it was the mashal written in the book of Yecheskel. Uman inu mesim shachiyu Yecheskel. Says the Gemara, who are these people? Amar Rav, says Rav, Ilu b'nei Ephraim. Shemeno Elu b'nei Ephraim Shamanu Lakit V'Tohu calculated the end of Yitzhak. They made a mistake. They were killed when they left Mitzrayim. Shenamar b'nei Ephraim Shuselach Ubarad Banu V'Tachas B'noi V'Elada B'noi V'Tachas B'noi V'Zeved B'noi V'Shuzel B'noi V'Ezer Elazar V'Elad V'Hargam Anshe Gas and Olam Be'aretz V'Goyim. They were killed by the Anshe Gas. Uksivin says the apostle V'Yisabel Ephraim Avim Yom Rabim V'Yavo Echav L'Nachamai. They came to console them. Shmuel Amar Shmuel says no. These are people that denied Tchias Hameisim. Should never Yemay lie. Ben Adam Atzamos Elo Kol Beis Yisrael Emayin Amru Yevoshu Atzvosenu Va'avdu Tikvosenu Nigzaru Lanu, that we have absolutely no hope. Rav Yirmiyah Bar Abba Amar Elo Bnei Adam Shein Bahem Lachluchesh Al Mitzvah. These were people that had mamish no mitzvahs at all, no merits at all. 8 lines from the Y line. Shenemar Atzamos Yevisha Yishamu Devar Hashem. Says these are people who cover the Eichal with pictures of pagan abominations and creeping items. Ramasim Shemer Vav Erev Ine Kol Tamnis Ramas Beima Shaket Chogulei Beis Yisrael Mechukal Kir Saivi V'Gaimer Rachman L'Tzlan. How they covered up the Beis Hamikdash Uksiv Asam V'Avinu Aleim Saviv. Rav Yochanan Amar. Again, I'm trying to figure out who are these people. Bisman Yecheskel and Avi that we find out that they came back to life, whether it was b'mashal, whether it was in reality. Rav Yochanan Amar in the first white line. Elu message of a bikas Daira. These are the mesim in the valley of Dara, plain of Dara. Amar Rav Yochanan. Minar Ishel Adaravas bikas Daru. Shebeshash Eglan V'Chanetzar Rasha Yisrael V'Chanetzar of the Galus. Hayubem Bachurim Sheyam Minanin Esachama. That when Nebuchadnezzar sent them to Galus, there were kids who put the sun to shame. B'Yofim with their incredible beauty. V'Yakashtiyam Rayus, they saw in the Castians, the Chaldeans saw them. Shafas Zavais. And due to their incredible beauty, they became a zav. They had incredible desire to be with these young men. Amru l'ba'aleim. They told to their husbands, who ba'aleim the melech, and the husbands told the king, Siva melech, the king commanded Vargam and killed them. And the women were still lusting after the corpses, and they were having this untimely flow. Siva melech, the Ramson, the king ordered that they trample to destroy their beauty, and these were those that were eventually brought back to life, whether it was real or b'mashal by Yecheskel. We'll stop over here. We'll pick up from the Brayis of Tanur Rabbanan in Mirza Hashem.